Are we getting gross this week? Yeah, you better believe it. Week 14, baby. Sit down, buckle up. We got picks for every game. Let's go. Hey, Dave Loughy here on Twitter at Loughy_D. Hit your boy up if you haven't done so yet. And help me feed the algorithm as always. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. It's free to do so. Also, leave a comment down below. Always want to know your guys' favorite plays from these spots. All of these games, we got some great ones this week. And one last thing before we get started. Take advantage of the bonus bets on Bet365. If you're in any of these states on the screen right there, you're getting 150 bonus bets when you sign up, $150. Sign up, deposit 10, bet 5. I don't care if it's Pakistani cricket. The moment that live bet or any bet settles, you've got 150 bonus bets injected into your account. But one more thing, it's Tuesday when I'm recording this. $25 in bonus bets when you bet 25 on the NBA. Thursday, $5 for every touchdown scored. We got Packers-Lions. This could be a 9-touchdown game. Think about the bonus bets there. And then, of course, on Sunday, another $25 in bonus bets for wagering $25. So ultimately, we could be bringing in north of $100 a week just in bonus bets, plus the $150 you're getting. Simplest way to go out there and make sure you're adding to your bankroll while also winning bets in the process. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. Link in the description and in the pinned comment. Collect them. So on Thursday, when we make that same game parlay for this Packers-Lions game we're going to talk about right now, you're sitting there nice and pretty knowing that you're going to collect on every single touchdown that is scored and already pocketed 150 bonus bets in the process. Must be 21 years or older to gamble. Gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Let's go. Thursday night football. Lions and the Packers. So Packers are 3.5-point dogs, 51.5-point total. Cue the boos, right? Listen, Lions, I mean, had it not been for Matt Eberflus, that's a game that the Lions could have lost last week. But the defensive line's seriously banged up right now. We already know that. But it's literally the only thing anyone in mainstream sports media is even talking about, right? It's getting to be a bit much, right? It's at the point, they're not wrong, by the way, but like Dan Campbell's group keeps finding ways to win. And when I say they're not wrong, what I mean is like, yeah, they're not wrong, but whenever you hear this much commotion and hoopla about something, it ends up going the opposite direction. We all know that. We've watched enough of this shit. But here's the thing. The Packers just keep winning too. They're 9-3 on the season. They're 7-1 over their last 8. And that only loss over that stretch came against, the Detroit Lions. Jordan Love was hobbled in that game though with a groin. Looked like he wasn't even going to play. He ended up playing. Guy plays through a lot. We saw it with the MCL, only missing a game or two. But I think 2 games, right? But I think I have to grab Green Bay at plus 3.5 in this spot. Again, cue the boos. Let me know. Tell me where you guys are at. Everybody on Detroit this week? I get it. Huge divisional showdown on Thursday night. Incredible matchup between 2 heavyweights. Going to be an awesome game. And we're getting the divisional dog outside of a field goal, a good football team, a banged up Lions squad. Only 2 players didn't practice for Green Bay on Tuesday. I think I have to take it. I'll have a full video on this as always, Thursday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Props, sides, touchdowns, parlays for Bet365. You already know how we do it over there. But for now, give me the Packers plus 3.5. Panthers at the Eagles. You guys remember like 3 minutes ago when I said we're going to get gross? Yeah, you got your head in your hands now, right? Eagles 12.5-point favorites, 46-point total. Okay, so does it not feel like we have to grab Carolina here? Yeah, you're going. No, it doesn't feel like we have to grab Carolina here. What are you, an idiot? But this feels like the trappiest spot ever if you're betting Philly, right? Again, tell me down below. But my guess is the majority of people are going to be on Philly. Carolina drops another game. Granted, it went to overtime. But you've got the Eagles coming off this massive game, highly publicized, like public type win, right? Against Baltimore, against Lamar, who has lost 1 career game to an NFC team. And that was a super fluky game a couple years ago against the Giants. You know, Dallas Goedert's out. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles hold Devontae Smith out 1 more week for a big Week 15 tilt against the Steelers. Bryce Young's actually playing good football right now, too, and the Panthers are 2-2 over the last 4. That sounds okay, right? But when you consider the fact that, they beat the Giants, whatever. They beat the Saints, which resulted in Dennis Allen getting fired. That was the final straw. And then they almost beat the Chiefs, and they just took a good Bucs team to overtime. I don't think this ends up being an upset, right? Like with Carolina just winning outright at the link. Absolutely not. But I also wouldn't be surprised if it's a letdown for Philly in what feels like an easy win, coming off what I would know, actually objectively their biggest win of the season in Baltimore. Everyone's hyping up Philly right now, hands down. I'll say this much, though. Be real interested to see if the public moves this to 13 closer to Sunday, so I might just wait. You get the Panthers at 13, you take it, man. We go gross, back-to-back, part 2. Browns at Steelers. Steelers 7-point favorites, 42-point total. Look, we bet Tomlin as a dog. We fade him as a favorite. That's what we've done all season. And you know what? It's honestly been one of our most profitable ways to play any team all year from a trends perspective. Same with the Chiefs. We've done it 4 straight weeks now, too. We bet the Steelers as a dog against the Bengals, win outright. Against Washington, win outright. Against Baltimore, win outright. We only bet the sides, but they won all 3 of those games straight up. And then we bet against them in that Cleveland game in the snow. Cleveland ended up winning outright. It's a weird way that Tomlin's teams plays, but that's the case. It's also a divisional matchup with a 7-point spread, right? And look, we bet against the Browns on Monday night. We bet the Broncos at -5.5. Why? The whole logic there was that Jameis Winston will make enough mistakes, just enough, to where it ends up being a game that skews in favor of the Broncos. It took us to the late 4th quarter, but we got it. Here's the thing, though. It's a divisional spot, and I could once again, just seeing the Steelers with the way they play as favorites and in these divisional games, I could just, like, you're getting a touchdown, you're getting 7 points, and everyone's going to fade the Browns after what they saw on primetime television. Touchdown dogs in a divisional spot, nothing really to play for at this point. Give me the Browns +7. Falcons at the Vikings. All right, Kirk Cousins has really not been good, okay? They're 5-point dogs, 46-point total. Over his last 3-6 games, he has a 0-6 touchdown to interception ratio. That's insane. If he doesn't perform this week in a big game against the Vikings, Michael Penix Jr. may end up suiting up. He may be preparing to suit up the following week in Las Vegas. Seriously. What's crazy, though, is the Falcons are still tied for first in the NFC South. It feels like deja vu from last year, except instead of the Falcons, it was the Bucs and the Saints jockeying for first place. The Bucs end up winning it at 9-8. Both teams were 9-8. The Bucs held a tiebreaker. And we might just be heading there again this year, except in this case, Tampa and the Falcons. Bad division. I do think the Bucs are actually a good team, though. Pretty good. We got Cousins returning home to face his former team. It's not like the Falcons are devoid of weapons either. Bijan is a stud. Drake London's awesome. Mooney's a solid option as well as that second wide receiver. And Pitts, when they decide to use him, isn't too bad. I'm a huge fan of Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores on the other side. But honestly, the Vikings haven't been dominant lately. Don't get me wrong. This team knows how to win. And Brian Flores, if he attacks with the heavy blitz, Cousins could be in for a very long day. But you look at them since the bye, all right? They have a +15 point differential in 7 games? In 7 games? They're 2-5 against the spread over that stretch. They have 1-score wins against Arizona, Chicago, and Jacksonville. I think 8-point win over the Vikings. Technically, that's a 1-score, right? At 5.5, I would lean Atlanta. It's not a revenge factor thing either. It's just the Vikings haven't been able to get up early on teams, but God, Cousins has been so bad. I'm not betting this game personally. I'd lean Atlanta here, but we got a lot of other spots I like, and this next one is absolutely one of them. Raiders are in Tampa against the Bucs. Bucs are laying 7 with a 45-point total here. First off, I might consider going over on 45. Haven't done it yet. But since the Bucs are 7-2 to the over, all right? Pass funnel defense. Aiden O'Connell looked decent last week. And, well, you've got Brock Bowers, who's just a stud. Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers had a 74% target share last week. It's crazy. We could target some props there. Saw 68.5 on Brock Bowers earlier in the day. Only on pick'em sites, though. None of the books posted it yet. We'll stay tuned for that one, and we'll hammer it when we find it. But pretty good football team, this Bucs team, thanks to the rebirth of Baker Mayfield. And they've been a highly competitive team despite critical injuries all year long. I think there's a possibility that they roll this Raiders team, honestly. Like, Antonio Pierce is he's probably the worst coach in football now that Matt Eberflus is gone. He's legitimately made like 4 or 5. He's probably made 4 of the 5 worst overall coaching decisions on the season. It's bad. And he's probably on his way out the door after only 1 year, not including taking over as interim coach last season when McDaniels got fired. But also, I just like the Bucs here first of all, I can't bet the Raiders knowing that Antonio Pierce is at the helm. He's been a problem all year. But also, just like the Bucs after escaping Carolina by the skin of their teeth, now they come home, non-divisional spot, non-conference spot. And I don't like the Raiders because what should have been a win in Kansas City, they somehow found a way to squander that. Like, colossal embarrassment of a loss in what should have been the most praiseworthy win, literally, of any team on the season. Give me Bucs -7. I don't think this moves to 6.5. If it did, it'd be my favorite play on the week. Jets and the Dolphins. Oh, by the way, one more thing, because we got some games to go. When I talk about those Bowers props, you know, we have fun doing this show. We throw out sides and all of that. I talk about props all the time, though. One of the ways that I bet, I mean, I get probably between 100 and 150 bets down a day, is with the Portfolio EV tool over at OddsShopper. Right now, until the end of the week, you're getting 70% off of that. 70% off of the entirety of the month. That's $30 for the month. And when I say that this has been the most profitable tool I've ever used for sports betting, I mean, you can see it in my results. I'll throw them on the screen. I'll throw up some of the threads on the screen that you can find on my Twitter at Loughy_D to understand how to use these tools and to see how you can profit by using a market-based approach and just picking off all the bad lines across the market and using our mass entry tool. You know what that does? It means that you can just take 20 bets at one time, click enter, and load them all into your bet slip. That's how it takes me less than 30 minutes a day to get over 100 bets. It has been massively profitable for NBA, for NHL, for WNBA, and I don't even watch the NHL or WNBA. So if you ever wanted to get in on something like this and really take profits to the next level, these videos are fun. All of the picks are fun, but this is something that has put people in a position to really make money. Use the promo code CYBERWEEK, all one word, CYBERWEEK, with that link in the description or in the pinned comment. Use that at checkout for the month. You're getting 70%, $70 off your first month. Greg Ehrenberg on this channel right here did a bankroll builder, put $100 down. He's already up over $500 like 5 weeks into the NBA season on $100, making small bets, incremental bets with small edges and just building it up over and over and compounding those returns into big profits. You guys are 100% able to do it too. It's a true money maker. We'd love to have you over there. Jump in the Discord, DM me if you have questions, ask them down there, wherever you want. CYBERWEEK, all one word, is the promo with that link in the description for 30% off. Anyway, let's talk about Jets and Dolphins. Dolphins are 6-point favorites, 45.5 point total. Okay, it's finally over for the Jets, right? I mean, to be fair, a ton of you watching this have probably been saying that for a long time now, and you'd be 100% correct. And I've kind of been dragging my feet. But you know what's wild? Like, this could have gone so much different, and I could be sitting here just straight victory lapping all of the Jets calls. But I'm not, because they're dead. What I mean is, the last 4 games they've played, they have blown fourth quarter leads in 3 of them. Remarkable, right? They had a 14-point lead over the Seahawks. They had an 8-point lead over the Colts. They had a lead over the Patriots and gave up a touchdown to Stevenson with 20 seconds left. Crazy stuff. Horrible. The Dolphins took a rough loss on Thanksgiving night. And sure, say what you want to me about, oh, Tua can't perform in the cold weather. Yeah, whatever. I mean, the guy threw for 364 yards. He completed 81% of his passes, and he had no turnovers. If you watch that game and you're intellectually honest, you know the muffed punt that turned into points early in that game, the terrible, crucial penalties that backed them up time and time again. Tua wasn't the problem, man. Whatever. I'll take the L. Fine. The team looked bad with the penalties, the punts, all that crap. But at home this week, I like them, especially considering they aren't actually dead to make the playoffs. They have technically a 10% chance, albeit highly unlikely. They're not dead. They're going to keep playing. And the Jets are pretty much dead at this point. Saying dead so much, probably going to get this video just removed, knowing how YouTube is. But normally I wouldn't be looking to take a big divisional favorite like Miami, but you know, the defense is just cratered for the Jets. The offense has nothing. There's nothing left, and they'll probably be without Sauce Gardner this week with a hammy too. Give me Dolphins -6. Saints at the Giants. Saints are 5-point favorites, 40.5 point total. I want nothing to do with these two teams right now, truthfully. Betting the Saints as a 5-point favorite when they don't even have Taysom Hill anymore seems insane. But also the Giants' O-line is so bad. Like Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito over the last 2 weeks, they've been pressured on nearly 50% of dropbacks with 10 combined sacks. Terrible. Surely one of them was against Micah Parsons and the Cowboys, but still, it's bad. They can't pass block. They run block pretty well, but if they fall behind, Tyrone Tracy becomes irrelevant. If this game stays close, that's the path for sure. We don't know if it's going to be Locke or DeVito. The Saints can't really stop the run either, which is helpful. But who knows? Maybe Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who has 4 touchdowns on 10 receptions this year. By the way, did you know that Nick Westbrook-Ikhine has 8 touchdowns on 20 receptions this year? And Trey McBride has 73 receptions and 0 touchdowns? Go tell your friends that one. Insane. I was looking over the numbers the other day. Couldn't believe my eyes. But who knows? Maybe MVS will get it done. Really, though, the absence of Dexter Lawrence for the Giants is massive. Like, the only thing they have going for them right now, other than Malik Neighbors, but you have to get him the ball, is Dexter Lawrence and that defensive line. And with him out for the year, that's brutal. I would still lean Giants +5 because I don't ever want to lay 5 on the Saints. And Taysom Hill had actually been instrumental, but I am not betting this game. No, thank you. Plenty of good spots. Jags at Titans. Titans -3.5, 40. And speaking of Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, 40.5 point total. Hey, shout out to Mac Jones for getting us that Jacksonville cover on Monday, huh? Not bad. I'll pass this week, though. The Titans are coming off an embarrassing blowout loss to the Commanders. Shout out to not me for grabbing the Titans last week, by the way. That was bad. At least we knew from the beginning. It's kind of nice when you know it's never has a chance. But these are the type of games where they should turn it around, right? Embarrassing blowout loss. Now you're facing a bad Jags team. Trevor Lawrence, no chance he plays. He probably doesn't play again this season. I wouldn't. What are they, 2-10 or something? But I also have no interest in laying more than a field goal here. That's the problem. If it's Titans -2.5, fine. Titans -3.5. What have they done all season to suggest that we should be betting them as more than a field goal favorites? We can't do it. You can. You can do whatever you want. You can fade every play here. Some weeks that would be good for you. You betting the Titans? Let me know. You guys betting the Titans? But you can't like the Jags either, right? Because the Titans defense is still, I know last week they were terrible. They were. The Commanders bounced back. This Titans defense, though, still, like, they're not horrible. This isn't bottom of the barrel shit here. This isn't the Cincinnati Bengals. I'd much rather just bet under 40.5. It reeks of a 2017 type game, doesn't it? Between two bad teams that can't really move the football effectively, but Jags defense has looked a little bit better. Titans defense will be fine in this spot. Give me under 40.5 while it's still out there. I think everything's going to move under 40 soon enough. Seahawks at Cardinals. All right, -2.5. Cardinals favored at home, 45 point total. This could be a nice bounce back for Arizona this week after losing by a point to the Vikings in Minnesota last week. But, I said to you guys last week in this very video, I don't have any feel for this Cardinals team from week to week. Like, they can go out, dominate the Bears and the Jets back-to-back weeks. I'm not saying those are good football teams, but bear with me here. And then score 6 points in a huge divisional game against the same Seahawks team that they're playing this week. I honestly want to take the Cardinals, though. I honestly want to take the Cardinals at -2.5, right? It's a good line. These are two evenly matched teams. You guys like the Cardinals? You guys like the Seahawks? I like the Cardinals a little bit, and here's why. The division's so incredibly competitive. And by competitive, I mean that these teams are so equal, right? Like, they're one game back of Seattle, at home, inside of a field goal. 2.5 is where it should be. Even that loss a couple weeks back to the Seahawks, where Arizona only scored 6 points, Seahawks only scored 16. Really a close game when you think of it. Just an ugly one. I'd lean Cardinals -2.5 here. I'm excited to watch this one. Bills at the Rams. I went back and forth here. I was really looking at the Rams thinking, you know what, this might be the spot because they're 4-point dogs at home, but they can't pass block, and that is a serious problem. So I'm really not sure betting against Josh Allen is the right move right now, especially considering this could be hard. This is hardly like home field advantage if you're the Rams. We saw the Eagles fans take over. What is it, SoFi Stadium in LA? We saw them take over a few weeks ago. My guess is the Bills Mafia has no problem traveling to sunny Los Angeles in December. So I think that'll be the case too. If you can't pass block, weapons like Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, it's not like they become irrelevant. Obviously not. They're fantastic players, but they become far less threatening, don't they? Especially when you have an immobile, statuesque quarterback like Matthew Stafford, who hasn't looked great lately himself. I'd lean Bills -4 here. Fun game, but I think the Bills might just overpower this Rams offensive line. And, well, betting against Josh Allen generally doesn't lead to great things. We got a couple games to go here before we wrap it up. Bears at the 49ers. Niners -3.5, 44 point total. I'll be honest with you. I think everyone's going to go to the Bears this week. After they fire Eberflus, and after everybody saw last on what was it, Sunday Night Football, the Bills just absolutely shit all over the 49ers. That's what it feels like. Clobbered in prime time. I don't have a choice. I think I have to back the Niners here. There's just no doubt in my mind that people are going to love the Bears outside of a field goal. And they're going to go, hey, McCaffrey's out. The 49ers stink now. Bears are the play. And you know what? They might be right. They might. The Trent Williams injury, Nick Bosa, big stuff there. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But again, the Bears plus 3.5 just seems insanely trappy. And I've already seen this move to 4.5 in some spots as well. So the 3.5, if you're grabbing the Niners, which is still out there on several books, that's the spot for me. If I had to bet this, I haven't bet it yet, but they're playing bad football right now, hands down. Can we at least agree, though, that getting smoked by the Packers in Lambeau without Brock Purdy, they had Brandon Allen out there, and then in the snow globe against Buffalo and Josh Allen, where they thrive in those situations, isn't the same thing as a home matchup against a rookie quarterback just because their coach got fired? Yeah, I got to do it. Let's lean 49ers minus 3.5. All right, Chargers and Chiefs. I've been waiting to talk about this one. I think you guys are probably excited for this one and really just to know where anybody's going here. Chiefs are 4-point favorites. It's a 43-point total. My buddy, Ben Rasa, you see him on this channel. You should watch his video every day too. Super sharp guy. Ben's bet of the day every morning. I think like 6 days a week. Watch that. Trust me. But we have the DFS channel. That's where we all got started before we ever had OddsShopper or any betting content here on YouTube. Check that out too. Stochastic. Stokastic. You want to get into the DFS streets, your life will change. You're going to love it. But that's our roots. And we were talking about this on the DFS strategy show this morning. It's Tuesday that I record this, discussing just how lucky the Chiefs have been. And then both of us almost in unison were like, yeah, the Chiefs are going to turn it around soon and it's going to shock everybody. We saw it last year in the postseason. They still win the Super Bowl after a pretty ugly regular season. It's just going to catch everybody off guard because right now they're barely winning games against bad opponents. And the perception has shifted. The public perception, the media perception has shifted against Kansas City, especially after seeing them almost lose to the Raiders on Black Friday, almost lose to the Panthers the week before. Chargers are going to be popular this week, but I have some real concerns about this offense. That's just the honest to God truth. Like, they can't run the ball without Dobbins. And even when Dobbins was in there, they struggled to run the football. They're finding ways to win games outside of Baltimore, like thanks to Jim Harbaugh, thanks to Kirk Cousins last week as well. And Justin Herbert always finds a way to keep things close against Kansas City before ultimately losing in the final minutes of the game. I actually think I'm leaning Chiefs minus 4. I really thought I'd be on the Chargers here. But it's just one of these spots where like the Chiefs kind of just coast along, find ways to win ugly games. Everybody's out. They're not going to get there. No chance. This is a paper tiger. Eventually they'll be exposed. And then they aren't every single year. Mahomes is a big favorite as someone we bet against. Mahomes is a dog as somebody we bet on. But when you got these like 5 point spots, they've won them this year. The Saints, they beat them up. They covered against the Falcons. Not to mention, the Chargers allowed 5 sacks last week to the Falcons, who had 9 total sacks on the season coming into that game. And the Chiefs can get after the quarterback. Give me Chiefs minus 4, man. Tough spot, but I think I'm going to actually go with Chiefs as favorites. They're not big favorites. They're just favorites. Let's wrap it up with Monday Night Football. Oh, God, what a gross one. Bengals minus 5 at the Cowboys. 49.5 point total. Do we just take the over here? Like, do we just take the over because every game Joe Burrow plays goes for 900 points? Like, is that just what we should do? You know, think about it. This is a team. This makes no sense. Listen to the scores over these last 4 games. 44-38, 34-27, 35-24, 41-24, even 37-17 is a game that got over 50. They're 1-4 in those games. How? The team has scored 100 points over the last 3 games, and they're 0-3. It's illogical until you look at their defense, and their defense is terrible. Like, keeping opponents off the board is the issue. Think about this for a second. Joe Burrow, and I actually bet it a few weeks ago. It's dead now because they kept losing. I bet it a few weeks ago when they needed to start winning games. I bet Joe Burrow MVP at like 13-1 because in my mind, I'm going, Hey, this is the MVP of the league if this team makes the playoffs. If they sneak in, this is the MVP, hands down. Definitely over Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Saquon Barkley. He is. You know, he's on pace for 43 touchdown passes. He has 30 touchdown passes to 5 interceptions. He's going to throw for over 4,700 passing yards. And the Bengals have a 4% chance of making the playoffs. Make it make sense. This defense is atrocious. They're the only reason that Joe Burrow isn't being talked about more as like, dude, this guy's having a remarkable season. 4% chance. By the way, the Cowboys have a 3% chance. Neither are eliminated quite yet. Cowboys won 2 straight. Here's the problem, though, and this is why I'm having a tough time. The Bengals are not a good pass blocking team. And if there's one thing the Cowboys can do well, it's bring pressure on the quarterback. Micah Parsons can excel there. But there's still a couple of 5s out there. I think I'd go Cincy just because they're still going to find ways to score points. And I don't think if this game goes shootout, the Cooper Rush can compete enough to keep the score close. They are averaging 35 points in 4 games since the start of November and are somehow 1-3. Eventually, something's got to give. Bengals -5. Appreciate you guys, as always, for hanging out. I'll be back with you Monday and Thursday for those games. We always hit on those full video breakdowns. You want to join us over on Portfolio EV, take your profits truly to the next level, and really learn how to market-based bet and go, wow, I had no idea this existed, but now I'm truly making money consistently. Use the promo code CYBERWEEK for your first month, 70% off. And of course, we'll see you guys back here for the next one. Peace.